Good morning. It is Saturday, February 3rd, I believe. And it's the morning. I'm very tired. It was a rough night of sleep last night. So I have my coffee in my elephant mug. It's one of my favorites. And it's February. January's over. So it's time to recap January and start planning for February. If you don't know who I am or you're just joining, welcome to Caffeinated Cast-Ons. I'm Therese, also known as Caffeinated Cast-Ons. You can find me as Caffeinated Cast-Ons on Instagram and here on YouTube. And this is where I post my making. It's just like a digital version or a video version of Ravelry project pages. So join along. It's been really fun and I need to finish caffeinating. Oh, look at that. Postpartum baby hairs. Okay, if you are just joining, the month of January, I set 2 goals for myself, and that was no new cast-ons and get my whips down. And I started the month with probably about a dozen whips, a dozen work in progresses, things on my needles, and I did get it down by half. I didn't necessarily work on the things that I thought I was going to, but I'm pretty happy where I ended up. So from this past week, the last week of January, I do have one finished object, and that is my 2 at a time socks. And funny story about these, so they started out as 2 at a time, but once I got to the gusset decreasing part, I took them off the same needle and separated them. And I feel like that one made the process a lot easier on me for the gusset decreases, since I just wasn't used to it doing 2 at a time. And I feel that it made the project go by a lot faster. So really happy with these. The yarn is Heathered Handmaids. I want to say, you know, I don't have the label and I should have looked at my project pages before I sat down. But if you want the actual specifics, if you in the description box below, if you hit more, I think you have to hit more twice, there's going to be links to my Ravelry project pages that has all the yarn details. This is a tweed, I think it's like tweed sock is just the base, forgive me if I am not saying that correctly, but I want to say this is crossword puzzles and this is perfect jeans. That's a wild guess, but I did a contrasting toe. I did like a little sliver of the main color and then did more of the contrast color to kind of mimic this stripe that I had put in the heel. I did work these cuff down. Just followed Crazy Sock Lady's tutorial on working 2 at a time on magic loop until I took them off. I still worked the rest magic loop. So if you look at her tutorial videos on YouTube, she also has patterns available for purchase for the vanilla socks, but that's what these are. And they look so cozy. Very excited about these. Lately, I feel like my gauge has loosened up a little bit. So I have not been blocking my socks lately. Like the last 2 or 3 pairs, I'll just wear them straight off because nothing needs to loosen up a bit. And then I just stick them in the wash and they've been fine. So I think I'm just gonna keep doing that. So that is finished object, the last finished object of January. So with that last finished object of January, I finished 2, 4, 5, projects in January. So it's about half of everything that was on my needles, so I feel pretty good. So I had finished a washcloth, a Musselburgh, a square for my Afghan, the 2 at a time socks, and I caught up on my DK jelly blanket, meaning I just finished the color that I was currently on, and then I put that down. So the blanket itself isn't finished. It's technically not a finished object, but we'll get into that here a little bit later. So as for whips, one of my other goals that I kind of like a mini goal that I set for myself last week is I wanted just to get to the toe in these socks, and which I surpassed, and I wanted to get to the heel of the scrappy socks that I'm working on, and I am just about there. Oh, it's a tangled mess in here. So these are just some scrappy socks that I'm working on. I say scrappy, they're really not scraps, like they were intentional mini skein purchases. I guess just the method of using multiple yarns is what I mean by scrappy in this case. This is kind of like a practice for me because I do want to make a pair of truly scrappy socks with just whatever scraps that I have. So this was just a practice to get used to the yarn. But so I'm working these toe up, and these are just plain vanilla. And so I am in the last part before I start the heel. So this is actually, I think this is ready for the heel to start. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so this is ready to start the heel. So I am probably going to start that today. And I'm doing a fish lips kiss heel. And just in case you didn't see, this is the first sock that I finished. So almost done with those, feeling pretty good about those. Also, what I worked on this past week is I picked up my DK jelly blanket again. Since I finished the 2 at a time socks, and I knew I was gonna be where I wanted to be with the scrappy socks, I was like, you know what, let me just pick up my DK jelly blanket. It's gonna feel really good to work on that again. So let me show you. It's gonna be kind of cumbersome to show you because it is growing very much, a lot. Okay, let's see if I can, because I folded it up. So last time, this is where I was. I'm my little corgi stitch marker, and I just needed to, get to the top of the 3rd strip. So I finished that, and with that same color, I'm starting at the bottom. And this is the really finicky part, is just getting that started because it's just so loose at the bottom. I don't think I'm going to be able to show this. There's a preview. But yeah, so I am starting the 4th stripe on my DK jelly blanket. So still plenty a ways to go. But I was really excited to pick that up again. I missed it, and I actually had to go back to my project page. Hold on. Okay, I actually had to really go back to my project page on that one because I kind of forgot the modifications that I'm following. The Crazy Sock Lady made modifications and I really liked the way hers looked, so I am following her steps, and I forgot exactly how to start a new stripe. So I went back to look at her, or my project page where I have her instructions copied. That way I can follow along. So I had to go back and look at that to remind myself how to work on this blanket. I do have a new cast on because technically it's not January anymore and I can do what I want. Okay. This is an old project bag from the 2022 Stephen West MCal. I ended up not doing it, but I kept the yarn. The yarn's being used for other things, but it's a good bag. So I cast on a pair of socks, and I'm working on 9-inch circulars again. I cast this on yesterday, so February 2nd. I wanted to cast on February 1st, but life got crazy. Yeah, so we're doing 9-inch circulars again, and it's funny because I had to cast this on twice. The first time I did it, I only cast on half of my actual stitch count that I needed. I don't know what my brain was thinking. Well, no, I take it back. I do know what my brain was thinking, because I was thinking of how many stitches need to be on the needle, because I work magic loop. And so I only did that, and I was like, I don't know why it's so much harder for me to join in the round this time. Why does this look off? This seems very small. And I was like, maybe the little contrast pop of color was throwing me off. And then about halfway through the cuff, I was halfway done, I realized that I did not cast on the right amount of stitches, so I had to rip it out and start again. And I still may rip this out and start it again, because I don't know if I like how loose it is. We'll see, because I did a pop of color and then I started the ribbing after that. I don't know. And I don't like the way, because I wove it in as I went, and I don't like how that's kind of popping up outside of the sock. We'll see. Stay tuned. But I might rip this out again. But the cuff, this is just some pink that I had left over. I think it's like less than 10 grams, I want to say. This is Madeline Tosh. I still have the little label. Twist Light. And it is one of a kind. One of a kind is the colorway. I don't know if that means, I want to say that it's probably a one of a kind dye, or it truly is one of a kind. I never know. But yeah, so that is the pop of color. The regular cuff heel, cuff heel coffee. The main cuff color, it's not really picking up well, but it's like a lavender lilac color. I want to say this is from the Wandering Flock. I can't remember the colorway. I don't have the label anymore. But I did use this in my Austin socks that I did. So I'll see if I can find that project page and look. And then the main sock color is going to be this Suburban Stitcher. This was their show colorway from 2023 DFW Fiber Fest, and it is Desperately Seeking Cool. I got the glitter sock version, so there is a gold stellina in there. But I thought that would look really nice all together with, you can kind of see it, like all those pops of color. Yeah, I'm excited. So we'll see how many times I start this sock. But kind of ambitious goal for myself for this sock is I want to finish it by Valentine's Day. That's just under 2 weeks. And I have not knit a pair of socks that fast, I think, since the first year that I started knitting. So almost 3 years ago have I knit a pair of socks in 2 weeks. I'm gonna challenge myself. I'm gonna push myself to see if I can do it. I am feeling pretty good about my knitting right now, especially with my socks, because I feel like I am working through them fairly quickly. it's just going to be a fun challenge just to see if I can do it again. I've only ever done it once, so we're going to see. Life has been crazy, so it's probably a little bit ambitious, but it's just going to be fun way to challenge myself. Okay, I tied my hair back. It was getting on my nerves. With all my little baby hair. I'm dealing with postpartum hair regrowth. So that's always fun. Look at all that. I have essentially micro bangs. They're just all like tucked in here. I'm contemplating, hold on. My angle is itchy. I'm contemplating the postpartum mom chop. I don't know. My hair's gone through a whole journey. It goes through times where it falls out, where it thins because I have a condition with my thyroid, and it always makes me nervous to cut my hair. But it's just wild right now dealing with postpartum. So I think I might do it. We'll see. Anyways, so I have my knitting journal. It's just a notebook, and each month I write down my whips, goals to cast ons, finished objects, anything like that. So I have that written down here for February. So January I have the 2 goals of no new cast ons and clear my needles. February I am kind of taking it a little bit slower, and I think I'm going to add more goals as I go into this month. I feel like I had great pace for January and feel really good about getting a lot of projects off my needles. So I'm going to be a little bit more relaxed for February. But whips, I have 2, 4, 6, 7, now 8. It feels weird to say that because essentially I'm almost back to where I was in January. It's fine. But I know, again, 1 is a blanket, so it's going to be a whip for a long time. 2, I have the scrappy socks in there, which I know I'm getting close to finishing. It's fine. It's fine, it's fine, it's fine. So my whips, I still have my good old Scotch broom. Do I have that? I have not touched it. Maybe I should make that a goal this month, just to at least pick it up or try it on. It's gorgeous. The yellow light from here is throwing off the color, but you need to do a try on and just decide on a hem. It's really not going to take that long to finish this project. I've also considered blocking it before I decide on the hem and length. P.S. I did not swatch for that shirt. I was like, we're just going to cast it on just because it has so much positive ease. I was like, let's risk it. Okay, I did not swatch for that, but I'm not too concerned just because it's such a forgiving drape. And I did try it on a few times up until that point, and I think it's gonna be great. But yeah, I'm really bad at, no, I wouldn't say that. The other garments that I made, I did swatch. And I have a cardigan I want to cast on later this year, but I think I'm going to need a re-swatch only because I swatched that so long ago. And I'm pretty sure my tension has changed. Anyways, so I have the Scotch broom, my Find the Joy socks, scrappy socks, 3 Afghan squares that I need to finish, and my DK jelly blanket, which is just going to be a constant work on. Maybe I think I might add a new section to this that is just like takes all my ongoing projects, like my year of washcloths, DK jelly blanket and not necessarily count those as whips and just do something different with them. I don't know. But to cast on this month, I want to cast on another washcloth because I did challenge myself, I think in like December, to see how many washcloths that I can make each month. And those will be gifts, or just be for myself. And then I want to cast on an assigned pooling project. I'll get the yarn and show you that in a little bit. And then socks, which I just did yesterday. So let's cross that off and add it to the whips. So Valentine's socks. Okay. And then my 2 goals right now for February are finish the scrappy socks and catch up on squares. I think once I do that, I'm gonna feel so much lighter at my whips. The reason why the square goal is important this month is because I think it's either next month or the month after that in class, we start doing 2 squares each month. So that is going to drastically increase how many squares that I will have in my whips. So I definitely need to focus on getting that cleared up before I get really overwhelmed and want to quit because I'm in it. Like I'm in the last quarter of this class, I'm pretty sure, or about to be. So catch up on squares. I will probably add more goals. Like once I finish the scrappy sock, I'll probably add another goal to this, maybe more geared towards how many washcloths I'd like to work on this month. We'll see. And then the last section here is finished objects. Nothing's here yet. I haven't finished anything yet. It's only the 3rd day and it's been a crazy week. But as I finish a whip, I will cross it off here and then add it down here to my finished objects. So that's what I'm working with so far for February. Feeling really good. This one's gonna be more relaxed. I feel like I really did, I don't wanna say push myself, because that sounds kind of negative, like I pushed myself too hard last month, but I really did challenge myself, there we go, with my knitting last month, and I feel like I did really good. So we're gonna keep it up, be a little bit more relaxed. Oh, let me show you this assigned pulling yarn. My coffee's getting cold. I need to wrap this up soon so I can reheat it. So this is my assigned pulling yarn. I don't think I've shown this before, but this is from a chick that knits, and this is on deluxe sock, which is 85 superwash extra fine merino, 15% nylon, and this is the colorway Turtle Dove in the assigned pooling. If you don't know what assigned pooling is, because I didn't know what it was at first either, I kind of heard of it. Assigned pooling, planned pooling, I've heard of it a little bit, but this past year at DFW Fiber Fest, it was everywhere, and it's really cool and it's so interesting. But you just knit, stockinette, and then once you get to the colors, excuse me, once you get to the colors, you do a certain stitch, and then it just creates, I'm not explaining it well. Let me see. It highlights the colors in a certain way, so you're getting you knit until you get to the color, and then you do a certain stitch depending on the pattern that you're looking at, and then it gives you a certain effect. And it's bugging me that I cannot accurately describe this. Essentially, you knit until you get to the color, you change your stitch here, and then that creates a design itself. This one specifically is going to look like flowers. They're I can't remember the name of the shawl that I saw this knit up in an example at Fiberfest, but the pattern that I'm going to be doing, I believe, is the Calico. I want to say that's by Dawn Baker. I can't remember her name, but big deal of assigned pulling. She has a lot of patterns. But yeah, super excited. Me and two of my other friends, we all got our color of choice in the assigned pulling, and we just plan on working our projects together. We're not all following the same pattern. We don't all have the same color, but it's just going to be a time to work on our assigned pulling projects together. I think we're going to cast this on this month. Life is kind of crazy for all of us right now, so I don't know, but we'll see. So stay tuned if we end up casting that on. Taking a drink of my coffee reminded me, I was going to show you, I did get new coffee this past week. So I do Trade Coffee Co., not sponsored or anything. I'm just like sharing what coffee I drink because coffee is like just such a cozy thing for me, and I love having conversations over coffee with friends. I love finding new coffees. But this is Wonder State Coffee, and this is their seasonal blend. It is Winter Solstice, warm and colorful. And it's so good. It's a medium light roast, and I do pour over. Let's see. Where are they? Oh, they're in Wisconsin. Yeah, really good. I repeat purchase for sure. I really liked this one. Like I said, I do the Trade coffee subscription. If you want, I think it's like I can give anyone a free bag. That link is below as well. Okay. I do have a non-knitting finished object. So I do sticker stories. I found this on Instagram by Mary Cherry LA. And it's just kind of like a different form of creativity, therapy, journaling. I love it. So, I think I dropped some stickers. The last two that I did, so actually I didn't realize that I hadn't done a sticker story since the new year, like January 1st, I think. So I'll show that one. This was kind of like my little vision board for 2024. And I did this one a couple of days ago. Little woodland type vibes. And then I did a kind of, I don't know, word book one. I don't know how to describe it. But it's been nice. I think I just got this pack of moleskins. I think it came in a 3-pack. I either got it at Barnes & Noble or I got it off Amazon. I can't remember. But I think I'm almost halfway through the pack. But it's super nice. Reading, watching, listening. I have not had time to read this past week. The household has been insane the past week plus, really a month if we're being real, okay? So I haven't had as much time as I wanted to do what I want to do. I don't know, like I don't even know how I managed to finish a pair of socks. No clue. But reading, I'm still reading The Body Keeps the Score. I did not pick it up at all this past week, so I hope to pick that up coming into this next week, now that things are calming down a little bit. Yeah, still watching Big Bang Theory. I have a guess of something that's going to happen, and I told my husband what it was today, and like he's really good at keeping straight face. So I have no idea if I'm right or wrong, but I feel pretty good about my guess. I'm not gonna say it in case anyone hasn't seen it and they're watching it. All I'll say is the episode that we watched yesterday, someone told someone